What is the best post-workout food strategy? Like, what should you eat right after a workout? Well, I just wrapped up a workout this morning and we're headed to the grocery store. I want to teach you exactly the best strategy for post-workout meals. Let's jump into it right now. Yep, can I do a grande cold brew with half and half and 3 Splendas? The first thing to get out of the way, and you're probably wondering why the heck did I just order a coffee? Why am I not chugging a protein shake as soon as I get out of the gym? Because the anabolic window, as you may have heard it described, meaning the hour after your workout or the minutes after your workout, are not the most important times of the day to get food in your system. There's a couple caveats here, and I'm gonna explain what I mean. We're actually at the grocery store, so I'm gonna go shop for some things that I like to eat right after my workout, or at some point after my workout, all right? And it depends on the goals that we have. So let's break this down quickly and then we'll hop in and grab some key items that I want you to be aware of that I personally suggest you have in your routine. The reason why I'm having a coffee after my workout is because personally, this is a performance enhancer. After my workout, I get into work for the day. So I do my most important tasks usually the 4 hours after my workout. I personally don't eat right after my workout, and I'll explain why. And there could be a scenario where I would eat, and I'll explain on that as well. But I have a coffee right after my workout because I like to get most of my caffeine before 2 p.m. And I don't have a ton before my workout because too much caffeine overloads my system first thing in the day and I crash heavy. So I have just enough pre-workout to get me a little bit amped up, a little bit dialed in, and then I go crush my workout. As I start to work out, my energy comes up naturally. I do have some ice water to start the workout because that wakes me up. I don't take any cold showers or do any kind of weird morning routines all these weirdos online tell you to do. It's a total waste of time. I get up, I do a little Bible study, I prep my lunch for the kids for the day, for their school. I do a little bit of work before the gym, just enough, kiss my wife goodbye, and I hit the gym. Then I get into my work for the day, all right? That's my morning routine. But we're talking about post-workout meals, right? So the coffee post-workout has no reason outside of just boosting my energy for the main task that I have for the day. So what should you do post-workout? Well, let's understand something. The anabolic window is actually more than 1 hour. It's actually about 24 to 72 hours post-workout. What does that mean? It means following your workout within the next 24 to 72 hours, you need to replenish a couple things. Number one, the protein your body needs, all right? The requirement in terms of grams of protein that your body needs to just function and survive and potentially build new muscle. This ends up being around 0.8 grams of protein per pound of lean body mass. Now, I am a elite high performing guy who does not want complications. You're probably the same way. I don't like complicated routines. I don't like complicated math equations. So the way I look at it is within the next 24 hours, unless I'm fasting, I want to get about 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight. So I'm actually not far off my goal body weight right now. I'm like 215. I'm getting ready for, summertime right now. So I want to cut down to like 210. So I'm aiming for like 200 to 210 grams of protein per day. Now, how am I going to get that? Well, we're going to go in the grocery store and I'm going to show you that. But when I get that, doesn't matter as much as you might think. Ideally, I'm going to aim for 3 servings of at least 50 grams of protein per day. But when I get those servings, it's really up to me and my schedule. Okay, we're going to talk about that. So let's go grab some foods that I would strongly encourage you have on hand to make sure that your post-workout strategy is set up properly. But I want to just lay out the groundwork for you a little bit, the foundational thought process around the way I approach this, okay? So the first thing I would say, takeaway here is, don't stress having to get food or a protein shake right away after the gym, okay? If you want to, that's totally fine. And sometimes I will, which we'll talk about later. But the big key is in the next 24 to 48 hours, I want to get enough protein to support the goals that I have. That's the first and arguably the most important thing post-workout. All right, so we're in the grocery store here and we're picking up all of our staples for the week because the next 24 hours, I wanna make sure that I get a couple things. Number one, enough protein. And number two, enough calories. Now, calories are going to be determined by the goals that I have. If I'm in fat loss mode, I'm still trying to maintain and build as much muscle as possible, but most importantly, I'm trying to get enough calories so that I'm not too low in calories, but I'm not going over my calorie target that's gonna keep me in a calorie deficit, meaning I'm burning more calories than I eat on a daily basis. So in terms of post-workout strategy, I am not coming to the grocery store super hungry, which could be a major problem. I'm coming in with a plan, right? And I'm putting my list together ahead of time so that I'm not coming in the grocery store, you know, looking for whatever looks the best or is gonna taste the best. So post-workout, once again, I'm not worried about getting protein in right away. Now, there could be a scenario where I would wanna get protein in right away, and that would be if I'm training again later in the day. All right, so if I have a second training session that I'm doing, which is honestly, for me, I'm too busy. I don't ever do 2 training sessions, and we don't push our clients to do 2 training sessions ever, unless it's like, you know, splitting up a major training block. You know, if you're training for like a marathon or something and you need to lift a couple times a week, but you got to run 5 days a week, you might have a day where you do a double session. In that case, I would not only get protein post-workout, but I'd want to get some carbohydrates post-workout to replenish my glycogen. So it would just be something like 50 grams to 75 grams of carbs post-workout so that I start to fill my energy tank again to be able to train later. But once again, that is a rare thing for me. And honestly, I can't remember the last time I trained 2 times in a day, but I did, you know, in the past do that. And there are specific scenarios where that might make sense. All right, so I actually want to show you my first meal that I'm eating. These are 2 staples of mine that I get all the time. Really simple. So I have 2 low-carb tortillas that I'm gonna eat here. I have this pre-made grilled chicken that's literally just chicken, and I have a little bit of sauce to spice it up. Now, this is gonna seem overly simple, but that's the whole point. Post-workout, I really don't wanna spend a lot of time making my meals. So all I'm trying to do here, this is lunchtime. So I trained about 3 hours ago, so it's 12:30. So I got 2 lower carb tortillas. I'm gonna use about 8 ounces of chicken, because I just know how much 8 ounces is. I've done this a million times. So we got about 8 ounces of chicken. And then what I'm gonna do is just take a little bit of sauce, okay? And that is that. And I'm going to literally wrap this up like this, squish around the sauce a little bit so I get some flavor. And I'm gonna crush these 2 wraps. That's my first meal. This is technically my post-workout meal. So it's about 50 grams of protein, 30 grams of carbs, and we'll call it 8 grams of fat. So that's my post-workout meal number 1. Of course, the rest of the day, I'll make sure I hit my protein goal, my calorie goal. And I have 9 foods that I would call boring foods that I always have in my nutrition plan. If you want to see what foods those are, you can check out this video. I'll put it up here. And if you want to get access to our power fasting protocol that teaches you actually how to build out a full day of eating along with meal plans completely free, just comment the word meal plan or fasting below this video, and I'll make sure you get a free copy. Go check out the video now on the 9 foods I always get from the grocery store that are technically boring, but just about guaranteed fat loss, and I'll see you over on that video.